Welcome to Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha, the Director of the Human Relations Department. We are excited to have the opportunity to bring you today's program. The Human Relations Department enforces and encourages fair treatment and equal rights for the citizens and residents of Winston-Salem. The Human Relations Department has three key areas of responsibility. They are investigating housing discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, disability, family status, and gender, mediating landlord-tenant complaints, and conducting cultural diversity education and inclusion training and outreach. This television program is a part of our education and outreach efforts. All Nexus television programs feature community partners. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which also includes the Fair Housing Act. During this episode, we will focus on April as National Fair Housing Month and the city's Building Integrated Communities program. Our guests today are Alex Boston, attorney with the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem and member of the New Horizons Fair Housing Committee, and Liza Barron, supervising attorney at Legal Aid's Winston-Salem office and community stakeholder with Winston-Salem Building Integrated Communities. Now let's join Adolfo Briceño of our staff, who will interview today's guests.
Well, thank you, Wanda, thank you, and thank you all for being with us in this newest edition of Nexus, and thank you all for being with us today. Our first guest is Alex Boston. He's a staff attorney for the Housing Authority of the City of Winston-Salem. Thank you very much, Alex, for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome, Adolfo.
Alex, if you would, let's start with the conversation about the upcoming new Fair Housing Month that we're going to have. And before we do that, tell us a little bit of what you do at the Housing Authority.
Oh, I work as the staff attorney for the Housing Authority of the City of Winston-Salem. So I undertake litigation work on behalf of the authority, but in addition, I do regulatory compliance work and participate in activities like the New Horizons Fair Housing Committee.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about that. What is it? What does it entail?
The New Horizons Fair Housing Committee seeks to inform, coordinate, and promote fair housing and affordable housing development in the City of Winston-Salem. Well, I should also include the county, of course. They're a key part of the committee and our work.
I understand that you have been working on the new Fair Housing Summit. For those who do not know, every April the City of Winston-Salem organizes a new and affordable Fair Housing Summit. Tell us a little about what has been the discussion leading up to this event.
Well, as you said, every April is our Fair Housing Month, and along with that, we have a summit that the committee organizes to bring together a number of different sponsors, groups that are focused on fair housing issues, housing development, discrimination, other problems like that, and really bring to the wider community the work that the the New Horizons Fair Housing Committee is doing the rest of the year.
I see. And what are the discussions as to what is going to happen in this event coming on in April? Tell us a sneak peek.
Well, the summit has a number of functions. One is just to get together. A lot of people that don't normally get together will be able to meet and discuss ideas and share projects. But we always have a component of the time that is a discussion that's led by a number of community leaders. In this case, we're going to have representatives from a number of different organizations discussing both past projects like the Poverty Thought Force and what recommendations have come out from that series of projects and events that the Poverty Thought Force undertook, as well as new projects, new research, things like what new asset building strategies have been proposed in low-income communities and a number of different similar activities.
I see. Explain us and to the public a little bit about the importance of having these events, Alex.
Oh, this is absolutely essential because this is one of the only times when groups that would normally be focused on a very specific area of housing development or poverty or some other focus really get the opportunity to share ideas and come up with means of coordination and collaboration. There are a number of different, for example, community development groups in Winston-Salem that focus on very particular neighborhoods. And the summit is one of the key times when they come and meet with people outside of their area to focus on what broader trends may exist in fighting poverty, what new research there may be, what city initiatives or county initiatives they may be able to get involved with, and other things like that.
I see. When we talk about broader issues, what kind of issues do you see looming in the future when it comes to housing, Alex, in our city and our county?
Well, the Poverty Thought Force brought a number of different issues to light and extracted a number of different responses from the community. One of the key focuses that we are going to be taking up and focusing on in the future has to deal with asset and equity income in housing and the way in which disparities exist across the geography of Winston-Salem. So we know now from this research that there are, I mean, we have known for some time that there have been large racial disparities and large ethnic disparities in wealth across Winston-Salem, but we are now getting to see some other dimensions to that and the way in which disability and the way in which transportation costs and a number of other ways in which we can see a fuller and more complex picture of poverty and of wealth building that is leading us to some innovative solutions to those problems.
That's very interesting. Well, for those of you who do not know, the Fair Housing Summit takes place in April, and it involves usually specialists in the field of fair housing. We have developers, we have real estate, and everybody that's working in the city and in the county towards this goal of having, every time that we can, fair and affordable housing for everybody. Is there a final thought that you want to close this interview with, Alex?
I would encourage as many groups as possible to attend this event. Even if you do not feel like you are directly involved, we encourage everyone who has a stake in building our community to become a part of this process. The more people that we have informed about fair housing issues and about affordable housing development, the greater opportunities there are for synergy and for coming up with new ideas and new ways to solve these problems. The problems are not going away. And unless we find new ways of dealing with these problems from the solutions we had in the past.
Right, right. Thank you very much, Alex.
Very welcome.
And so this was Alex Boston. He's a staff attorney for the Housing Authority of the City of Winston-Salem. Thank you for your time, Alex. And thank you all for being with us. And we'll come right back with our second guest of the show.
Open the door.
Open the door.
Open the door.
Fair housing is for everyone. If you think you've been discriminated against, call 311 and ask for the Winston-Salem Human Relations Department. Fair housing, it's the law.
Playground. Just add water. And kids.
Wouldn't it be great if our carts rolled themselves back from the curb? Carts left at the street are unsightly and make it hard to see traffic. Remember to roll yours back by 8 a.m. the day after collection. A message from the Winston-Salem Sanitation Division.
Well, thank you. Thank you for still being with us in our second segment of Nexus. Our second guest of the show is Liza Barron. Thank you, Liza. Liza is a lawyer for legal aid, correct? Thank you for your time, Liza. Now we're going to be talking, Liza, about building integrated communities, this program that we started a few years ago. Tell us a little bit about that and how legal aid and the city are participating in this program.
Yes, well, the Human Relations Department of the city has had a
central role in creating the Building Integrated Communities program, or BIC program, here in the city. And legal aid is just one small part of it, but we've been very glad to be a part of it. The BIC program started with a grant from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. It was a 2-year grant for Winston-Salem to set up a program to welcome newcomers from other countries into Winston-Salem. So the Human Relations Department started organizing monthly meetings with a long list of different organizations throughout the city, and components of the city government as well, to figure out how to do that best and to get their input and participation. And it's come to fruition now, where we have a big pipeline, as we call it. It's a quarterly meeting, a presentation for newcomers, where we explain and give information to them about all different aspects of the city and different resources they might not know about that might be helpful to newcomers, especially people who come to Winston-Salem from other countries.
Right. Thank you, Liza. For those who do not know very well, explain us, what are these information sessions? What happens in these information sessions?
Well, it's a 3-hour information session each time, and there are presentations from different organizations and parts of the city. And there are translators for everybody who needs them. And the different presentations come from the transportation department of the city to let people know about the bus system and other things they need to know. The police department, which is very helpful for people from other countries, where the relationship with the police might be very different from here. And Legal Aid, my organization, gives a presentation about our organization and the free legal services that we provide to people who qualify for our services. And World Relief does a presentation about their services, and there's a health presentation about different health resources in the city, and there's a faith presentation about different faith resources. And I know there are others too. It's very comprehensive.
Yes,
but those are some of the presentations.
There's a health component too.
Yes, there's a health one. They do a PowerPoint presentation that's
Yes,
very helpful.
Yes.
And so it's been well attended and very helpful, I think.
Very well. Now, how did Legal Aid get involved in it? What is the role in this big pipeline?
Well, Legal Aid is one of the organizations that participate. And so we've been attending the meetings to help give input on how the big pipeline should be structured. And we participate in each big pipeline presentation. We present about our services and give information about our services so that people know where they can go to get free civil legal assistance in the areas of law that we cover if they qualify for our services.
And what do you concentrate on telling the newcomers and refugees when it comes to legal services? Is there something in particular that you think they will be interested in?
Well, I think one very important thing is that our services are free.
Okay.
And that's important for them to know. And generally speaking, hopefully they don't come with lots of legal problems. So it's not necessarily, I mean, arriving here might be, the biggest hurdle they have overcome, and maybe there aren't other immediate problems. But if there are, or in the future if things develop, we want them to know where they can go for assistance with the areas of law that we cover.
In the sessions that you have had, Liza, what were the questions that you received? Do you remember some of the questions that you received?
I don't know if I received any questions,
okay.
but we talked about the areas of law that we cover, domestic violence and landlord-tenant law. That's bound to be an issue at some point, probably for people, disputes or questions about the rights and responsibilities of tenants with regard to their landlords, and government benefits. We handle food stamps and disability and Medicaid and veterans benefits and other things. And employment law, if people lose their job, we can assist them with an appeal if they're denied their unemployment benefits. And consumer law, that covers bankruptcies and mortgage foreclosures and debt collection and judgment collection and car repossessions. We can assist people with those issues. And expunctions to get charges off of people's criminal records. And education issues, if people's children are having problems in school, we can possibly assist them. And I might have covered everything.
Everything. I see. For those who have not are not aware of this, we sometimes get there have been 2 sessions already, and we have had people that speak several languages. I think we have brought translators that speak Swahili, right? There was a translator that speaks Tigrinya for the Eritrea and Ethiopia. Those who speak from Somalia, we have had people from Somalia.
Yes.
I mean, Arabic too. I mean, it's an interesting mix of people that, and of course Spanish, you know.
Certainly.
The people that arrive and try to take advantage of these events. Tell us a little bit when the next one is going to be and how can people participate in this if they want to?
Well, I certainly encourage newcomers to come to these presentations, whether they're from another country or from another part of the United States. It's helpful information for everybody. They are held on a quarterly basis, and there's one towards the end of March. So the one after that will be towards the end of June, probably. And they're 3 hours long, and it's in the morning, well, from 9:30 to 12:30 usually. And so we try to make it convenient for people to not have to miss an entire day of work if they have a job, or and also to go there while their children are in school, so they don't have to worry about childcare. Although childcare is provided, and that's a very important thing for people to know as well. Translation is provided if needed, and childcare is provided at these pipeline sessions. If needed. And to register, people should go online to wsbic.com, and it should be easy from there to find out how to register for the BIC pipeline. And it's important for people to register in advance so that the organizers know what translators are needed and whether childcare is needed as well for children who are not in school.
Yes, wonderful. Well, thank you for this information, Liza. Is there any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, I wanted to share a little bit more about who the other local community partners are.
Sure, please.
To give them a shout out, because there's been a large group of people and organizations helping make this big pipeline happen and sharing their information. Wake Forest Baptist Health and Novant Health, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System, the police and the transportation departments of Winston-Salem, and World Relief, which is an organization that assists refugee populations moving into this area. Of course, the Human Relations Department of the city has been a huge part of this process. And Forsyth Tech Community College, Interfaith Winston-Salem, they help provide information about faith resources in the area, and Second Harvest Food Bank and Hispanic League, and there are probably others too. So it's been a great collaboration with this project, and we hope that it's helpful for years to come.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. This was Liza Barron. Liza is an attorney for Legal Aid, North Carolina. Thank you for your time, Liza. Thank you very much for being with us. And we'll be right back with the Nexus Challenge and Jamie.
Thanks, Adolfo. I'm Jamie Wadek, and this is the Nexus Challenge, where we test your knowledge about fair housing laws. In honor of Fair Housing Month, during April, this special edition of the Nexus Challenge will focus on explaining how the Fair Housing Act is structured. Let's start with a question. Which of the following are protected classes under the Fair Housing Law? Is it A, gender, B, religion, C, national origin, or D, all of the above? The answer is D, all of the above. Federal Fair Housing Law bans discrimination based on 7 personal characteristics, also referred to as protected classes, that a landlord may not use as a basis for denying housing to an individual. These characteristics are race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, and familial status. Let's go into more detail on what these terms mean. Race and color. These are 2 separate but closely related characteristics. Race is self-explanatory. Color refers to a person's physical appearance. For example, although 2 people are both African American, there might be discrimination because one has lighter or darker skin color. National origin. This is based on whether applicants or their families come from another country. Discrimination based on national origin means treating people differently because of their ancestry, ethnicity, birthplace, culture, or language. Religion. This refers to members of a particular faith or belief system and may also cover anyone based on his spiritual beliefs, even if he isn't affiliated with a particular religious group. Sex. This refers to treating people differently because of their gender and bans sexual harassment against both men and women. Disability. This refers to a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. However, individuals who currently use illegal drugs or pose a direct threat to the health and safety of others are not considered disabled under the Fair Housing Act. Family status. This refers to households with one or more children who are under 18 years of age, whether living with a parent, legal guardian, or anyone else with written permission. It also applies to pregnant women and anyone in the process of securing legal custody of a minor child, such as a foster or adoptive parent. And that's this month's Nexus Challenge, and I'm Jamie Waldeck. Now let's go back to Wanda.
Thank you, Jamie. Before we go, here's a look at some upcoming events. We hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you for watching Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha. See you next time.